What happens when a Muslim professor walks into a healthcare conference and locks eyes with a Christian nurse whose father is a preacher? You'd think this is where the story ends before it even begins. But sometimes the most impossible love stories write themselves in ways no one sees coming. This is about two people who had every reason to walk away from each other, but chose to build something beautiful instead. November 2017, a healthcare conference buzzing with professionals, PowerPoint presentations, and lukewarm coffee. Dr. Ashley Hussein, a healthcare administration professor with a PhD and a mind sharp enough to command any room, was there doing what she does best, immersed in her field and focused on her career. Nnamdi Okorafor, a nurse with roots deep in Nigerian soil, son of a preacher, raised in the Igbo tradition, with faith woven into every part of his life, was there too. Two paths that had no business crossing, but the universe doesn't always follow the script we write for ourselves. Their eyes met across that conference room, and something shifted. Not the dramatic movie scene kind of shift, but the quiet kind that lingers in your chest and refuses to leave. They started talking, first about healthcare, about their work, about the things that brought them to that conference. But conversations have a way of deepening when two souls recognize something familiar in each other, even when everything on the surface says they're complete opposites. Ashley came from a world that already understood what it meant to bridge divides. Her mother, a white American Christian, her father, a Pakistani Muslim immigrant. She grew up watching two different worlds meet at her dinner table every night, learning early that love doesn't ask for permission from tradition. Nnamdi carried the weight of his heritage with pride, the expectations of his community, the teachings of his father who stood in pulpits and spoke of faith with conviction. He knew what his family valued, what they believed a good match looked like. And Ashley, as extraordinary as she was, didn't fit that picture. But here's the thing about real connection. It doesn't care about the boxes people try to put you in. Their relationship blossomed in the months that followed. Not without questions, not without doubts, but with something stronger than both, a certainty that what they were building was worth fighting for. And fight they would have to, because when they brought their love home to their families, the reception was anything but warm. Ashley's parents, despite having navigated their own interfaith marriage, had concerns. Nnamdi's family, rooted in their Christian faith and Nigerian culture, struggled to accept a Muslim woman as their son's choice. The son of a preacher, falling for someone outside the faith. It felt like betrayal to some, like recklessness to others. Both families pushed back, not out of cruelty, but out of fear. Fear that the differences were too vast, that the challenges would crush what seemed like fragile love, that their children were making a mistake that would cost them everything. But Ashley and Nnamdi had already made their choice. They chose each other when it would have been easier to walk away. They chose love when everyone around them chose doubt. And on April 19th, 2019, they stood together and said vows that meant more than words on a page. They were a declaration that their love was bigger than the barriers built around it. Marriage didn't magically solve everything, but it did something profound. It forced their families to confront a truth they'd been avoiding. This wasn't a phase. This wasn't rebellion. This was real. Slowly, brick by brick, the walls came down. Ashley's parents saw in Nnamdi the same kind of dedication and respect her father had shown her mother. Nnamdi's family saw in Ashley a woman of strength, intelligence, and a heart that truly loved their son. Acceptance didn't happen overnight, but it happened, and when it did, it was complete. The families who once stood in opposition became the foundation of support this young couple needed. Life moved forward with the kind of momentum that comes when you stop fighting against the current and start swimming with purpose. Ashley and Nnamdi made a bold move to Florida, chasing not just opportunity, but a vision of what their life could be. Freedom, happiness, a blank canvas where they could paint their own future without the weight of everyone else's expectations. And then came the moment that changes everything for any couple. They became parents. Their first daughter arrived, a tiny human who carried in her DNA the beautiful complexity of two worlds, two faiths, two cultures blended into one perfect being. Suddenly, the late nights weren't about conferences or career planning. They were about feeds and diapers, and the kind of exhaustion that somehow feels sacred. Ashley, armed with her PhD and every academic achievement imaginable, made a choice that raised eyebrows in some circles. She stepped back from traditional career pursuits to be a full-time mom, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She saw in those early years an irreplaceable opportunity to build her daughter's emotional foundation, to be the constant presence that creates security, to personally guide the learning that happens when a child's brain is most hungry for the world. People questioned it, a PhD staying home. But Ashley understood something deeper than professional validation. She was modeling for her daughter that success isn't one size fits all, that you can hold academic achievements in one hand and embrace the beautiful chaos of motherhood in the other, and both can coexist without one diminishing the other. She was teaching through action that family commitment isn't a step backward, it's a conscious step toward what truly matters. The bonding that happened during those days, the language development that comes from endless conversations, the values transmitted not through lectures, but through living. Those were investments no career could replicate. Then came their second daughter, and the beautiful chaos doubled. Two little girls running through their Florida home, filling every corner with noise and laughter, and the kind of mess that makes you simultaneously exhausted and grateful. Namdi and Ashley found themselves in the trenches of parenthood together, navigating toddler screams and building dreams in the cracks between the chaos. They joke now about how they're not just raising kids, they're building tiny queens, strong little humans who will grow up, never questioning whether love can cross boundaries, because they are the living proof that it can. But they didn't keep their story to themselves. Understanding that their journey could light the way for others walking similar paths, they created something powerful, Freedom's Soapbox, a YouTube channel dedicated to their family adventures and, more importantly, to being a resource for other interracial and interfaith couples. They knew the loneliness of being the couple that doesn't fit the traditional mold, the exhaustion of constantly explaining your love to people who don't understand it, the isolation of feeling like you're the only ones fighting these battles. So they opened their lives, shared their struggles, their victories, their everyday moments, and created a community, a space where other couples could see themselves reflected, where they could find advice, support, and the simple but profound reminder that they're not alone. By April 2024, they were celebrating 5 incredible years of marriage. 5 years of painting their life together in every shade and hue imaginable, blending their backgrounds into something uniquely theirs. The anniversary posts weren't just romantic words, they were testimonies to a love that had been tested and had emerged stronger. They reflected on the wild ride it had been, the laughs that made their bellies ache, the challenges that tested every ounce of their strength, and the undeniable truth that they were still standing, still strong, still choosing each other every single day. 1 year later, April 2025, marked 6 years of marriage. 2 little girls now, the chaos multiplied, but so had the joy. The late night feeds had evolved into different challenges, but the core remained the same. 2 people building a life together, chasing dreams while managing the beautiful mess of family life. They looked at their daughters and saw the future, these tiny queens who represented everything they'd fought for. The freedom to love without boundaries, the courage to choose happiness over tradition when tradition stood in the way. In their reflections, they spoke about connection that goes beyond words, about understanding each other's silence, about being not just lovers, but best friends and partners in every sense. They talked about growing together, supporting each other, and the commitment to never give up, no matter what life throws their way. Their story isn't finished. It's still being written in the everyday moments, in the way they navigate parenting together, in the community they're building through their channel, in the example they're setting for their daughters, and for every couple out there who's been told their love is too complicated, too different, too impossible. Ashley and Namdi proved that when two people decide their love is worth more than other people's comfort, when they choose to build rather than conform, when they face opposition with grace and determination, something extraordinary emerges. Not a fairy tale without struggle, but a real, messy, beautiful life, built on the foundation of genuine partnership and unwavering commitment. If their story resonates with you, if you've ever felt like your love didn't fit the mold, or if you're building your own version of freedom and happiness against the odds, hit that like button, drop a comment sharing your own story, and subscribe to join a community that believes love knows no boundaries. Because at the end of the day, the best love stories aren't the easy ones. They're the ones where two people look at all the reasons it shouldn't work and decide to make it work anyway.